Hey everybody, so I just finished watching Class of 1984. Now, this for some reason popped up in the Amazon horror section, so I thought, yeah, I'll give it a little watch and see what it's all about. And turns out that it's more of a thriller than anything else. So, basic premise, teacher comes over to a school. He goes and the school has a bunch of punks. Now, this is 1980 punks. This movie's made in 1982, but it's about 1984. Odd, though, isn't it? So there's a bunch of punks that are running the school. They have, like, their drugs and all their other things. They somehow work out of a punk club, and they own hookers or strippers or whatever the fuck they do. Anyway, they're really bad fucking kids. Okay, and so they started to make this teacher's life hell because one of the kids honestly wants to be a great piano player, and he really is, but he's also a street punk and can't do shit without something going down. So it's interesting. The funniest thing is that there is a young Michael J. Fox in this movie, and this is probably his first major film role. It was really weird, and he goes by Michael Fox in the movies, not Michael J. Fox, and this is even before Family Ties. So it's really odd to see him in this role. He's got these really chubby cheeks. I mean, like, you just want to pinch him. You just want to grab him by the cheeks and just pinch. It's a relatively, like, his role is very minor, but the film itself is actually quite entertaining. I was very, very surprised. And I had started a different movie, actually, originally, but I found out that it was made in 1990, so it had to go off my list, even though Amazon put it as 89. That's your fucking fault, Amazon. But, so it was just kind of this weird movie that, like, I didn't know if I'd actually enjoy. And it actually got pretty good as it went along, but it has a terrible ending. Well, okay, how it ends is terrible. There's some really standout scenes. I think there's a scene where, like, they come in and they've trashed the science teacher's place, and they put a bunch of frogs and rabbits and shit all over the room. Like, they strung them out, skinned them, turned them inside out. And it's pretty disturbing to see that shit. And then so later on, he snaps and he teaches the class with a gun. Literally has his gun out because he cares. This is the first guy that the teacher, Andy, meets when he comes in, and he meets him he sees him putting a gun in his briefcase and carry it with him. And so he has his gun out and he's basically like pointing it at everybody. And he's like, all right, so what makes men different than women, or women different than men? And like points the gun at them and has them actually answer the question. And how many chambers does the heart have? And then the person answers the question. And right when the really bad Stegman, when he doesn't answer the question, he's about to shoot him in the face, and then Andy comes and saves the day. It's, like I said, I really like that scene, and I really like a couple of, like, the whole lead up to the end to him and his big fight with Stegman, which was crap. I bet you it's not Stegman. It could be Stegman. It sounds like that. It might be something Stegway, Steg something. I'm probably just thinking about Oprah's not husband. But anyway, so, like, the climax is pretty interesting. The one thing I don't like is that to get at the teacher towards the end, they decide to break into his house and gang rape his wife. Not a big fan of that. That was a little bit too much. Went on for a little bit too long. Not like there was anything that you really saw, but it was just like, okay, when the first one happened, I was like, okay. And then it was like, ooh, fat guy's getting on her too. Ooh, the other guy's getting on. Ooh, he's going to beat her with the chain before he does it. Okay, this is going on for a little bit too long. And then he's given like the picture, to have her chase, and like you wouldn't like be like, they caught my wife. Like, you wouldn't turn all Harrison Ford and shit like that in Air Force One and tell them to get off my fucking plane and go after them, but instead you're gonna go and allow them to do whatever they need to do. Like, you're gonna just totally like get rid of everybody. But it's just crazy. But that whole sequence of him getting revenge on every single person, it's great. It's got some great kills, some great practical effects, especially when the guy gets his arm sawed off on the table saw that they have in the shop class. I really enjoyed that. The other guy being set on fire was pretty good. The other person getting crushed by it, one guy gets ran over by a car, and then the girl, she doesn't die per se, but she gets in the accident, like she crushes her friend. She's the one that kills the guy, and he is like, or she like smacks her head into the steering wheel. There's also a really funny scene when he goes to visit the kid's house, and the mom's like, no, my son's totally innocent, and is like totally nice and everything like that. And so to get revenge on the kid, like he breaks and hotwires his car and then just fucking crashes it everywhere. It's fucking entertaining. It's really fucking entertaining. But like I said, the ending is just kind of crappy because he eventually catches up with the bad teen, and then like they just tussle. Like nothing else really happens until like he throws him. Well, he lunges at him and he misses or whatever the fuck it is, and then he goes through the light, and then he's like, "Oh, but you have to help me, Mr. Norris. Please, please help me, Mr. Norris, please." And then he, of course, turns on him at the last possible fucking second. And Mr. Norris says, I ain't having none of that shit. And then forces him to drop, and he hangs as the orchestra is finishing their like little recital downstairs. It's just like, it's not necessarily that. I mean, that's kind of crappy in general, but it's the fact of the matter that the kids, like, not the kids, but it flashes on the screen, he did not get prosecuted because nobody saw it. What the fuck? That's really how you're going to end it? And then you're going to fade to black, and then you're just going to show the city and roll the fucking credits? Come on, there's got to be a little more than that. There's got to be a police investigation coming by. Like, he's completely covered in blood. Whose fucking blood is it? It's all the kids that he just fucking killed. So, but honestly, I still think it's a very entertaining movie, and I'm going to actually give this one a 4 out of 5 sawed-off arms. I think I really enjoyed it, and the ending, you know, while it wasn't my favorite, I still enjoyed everything through and through. A little slow to start, but pretty good for a thriller. So it's available on Amazon Prime in their horror section for some reason, but I definitely think that this is more of a thriller type movie. So, you know what? Fuck it. It's going to fit. And we'll see you tomorrow. This was, day 10 of 31 and 31. And yeah, so find out what the movie is tomorrow. Let's see what I can find from 1988. Well, 1980s.